Hey everybody, this is Daniel. Got a new one, or a new one at least to me today. If you can't tell what it is, it's another PRS. So this one, I think, should go without saying. I got in a trade. So, as many of you know, I do a lot of trading, buying, trading, selling on Facebook Marketplace. Right now, I'm sure a lot of you know that the used market for guitars is kind of getting a little rough out there. I think it's just inundated with a lot of used guitars. A lot of people bought guitars during the pandemic when they were working from home, but now that they're going back into the office, now that a lot of those rent moratoriums have gone away, a lot of that expanded social safety net during the COVID period has been turned off. I think a lot of people, they're just not playing their guitars. They need that money for rent. They need that money for gas, for, bills, what have you. So, as I've kind of stated in the last couple reviews, a lot of what I've been getting has been used guitars, albeit fairly well kept. So that's kind of the best I can look for, are guitars that were kind of just kept in their case, or maybe played, but not played too badly. Anyway, this is one of those guitars. So over the past probably about week, so not too long ago, I listed my Gibson Les Paul Standard 50s, my 2019 one, and that vintage Gretsch, and a vintage Gretsch I had. I don't think I did a video of it here. In fact, I actually don't think I did a video of it because I knew I was going to sell it. It might have been in my collection video, which even in this short time, I'm probably going to have to shoot a new one, maybe around end of December into the new, or sometime after the new year. We'll see when I get around to it, because I've got one more trade lined up. Anyway, this guitar I got, it's a 2011 10-top PRS Santana in Eriza Verde. So, I know it doesn't look like it, but it's, according to the paperwork, or the little hang tag that came with it, according to the records that the guy who sold it to me, he emailed PRS, and he sent me the emails of, screenshots of the emails of what PRS said what this color is. It's Eriza Verde. If you ask me, I've kind of called it Iguana Burst, Gecko Burst. I kind of call it the lizard guitar because of this color. It makes it look kind of like a lizard. But anyway, it's a 10 top. It's a really nice guitar. This is probably the nicest, most expensive PRS I have. The other core guitar being my single cut, the pre-lawsuit single cut PRS. So anyway, I think this will be a fairly short review because there's not a lot of bells and whistles to this guitar. So like I said, according to all the information, it's a 2011. It looks like it has the abalone or some kind of like gold or whatever inlays. Doesn't have your regular like acrylic birds. I don't know if it's, like I said, I don't know if it's the abalone. It's almost like a goldish kind of color, or maybe it's just straight gold. I'm not 100% sure, but it's not your typical filled in, or even not even your typical like abalone ones, or mother of pearl ones that you might see on some higher end ones. It's got the little clear knobs, and so in the case, it didn't have like the paperwork, but it had the hang tag with it. It also had, I think the original owner, switched out the pot, or like one of the capacitors, because in the little thing it included a capacitor, and they wrote on it PRS Santana capacitor. They also had two different switch tips, which I think one was the original, One might have been a replacement. And then there's this one, which is an all-wood one. At first, I thought this was going to be like the original one. I'm thinking that they bought it as an aftermarket one, just to kind of give it a more natural look. It's got the PRS Santana humbuckers. Let's see, it's got the headstock. You know, on the Santana ones, they don't say PRS. They just have the eagle, the bird on there. It's got the locking tuners. And I thought this was original, but as I look at it, as I've looked at other models, I'm wondering if this is an aftermarket one. If you have a 2010, a 2011, whatever, PRS like this, Santana like this, or if you've seen this on Santana models, let me know in the comments. Or if you know for sure that this is an aftermarket one, like I said, like I kind of suspect it is, again, let me know in the comments. But I suspect that it's an aftermarket one, because the other ones I've seen are either the filled-in white ones, or they have like maybe mother of pearl on this. Never quite this nice. So yeah, here's the back of it's the open back locking tuners. It's just an amazing guitar. It's the tremolo. It also had on the back, in the box, like an extra trem thing and extra springs in there. Again, I don't know what the guy did. I don't know if he put a better claw in there. I don't know if he did something, used a better spring system. It looks like it's the same thing, so I don't know if he bought it as a backup or if he what, but there are a bunch of little pieces, odds and ends on it. So this guitar is a pretty good guitar. What I'll say is, it's hard to show. I can't even really show them. It would be more like if you felt it. There are little dings and scratches, which would be typical of a PRS. Again, this is a 12-year-old guitar, I'm going to say. But yeah, around the edges and a little bit on the body, like around here and stuff, you can feel like little nicks and dings. So it's got a little bit of wear. On the back here, I don't think it's going to show. Yeah, it's not going to show up. But there is a little bit of, because of their infamous cab finish, it's got a bit of that milkiness around here and around here. It's, for those who don't know, it's where the finish, it starts to get this milky white color. It can kind of get around here, around here, around here. It's like yeah, it's hard to show because the lighting has to hit just right, and where I'm shooting, the light's not going to quite hit it. But yeah, all around this area, gets this milky white kind of color into it. It's kind of light. I think it's something to do with their coat, their coat, the fin. It's not as much. Doesn't come in as much on the top. Like I don't see it on the top. It's mostly just around the neck area, this heel and the sides of the cutaways. So doesn't do anything to the sound. Doesn't do anything like that. But it's, in looking it up on the forums, it looks like it's pretty common for their pre-2019 finishes for that to happen. Again, I haven't seen that in any other guitars that I've owned from them, or seen, but I've heard it happens. So, and then one other thing I'll mention, I can't replicate here because my phone is what's filming, but I discovered last night that this neck pickup, not the bridge, but the neck pickup, is a little microphonic. So I was watching a Premier Guitar Rig rundown, and I just had the guitar on my lap. The guitar is plugged into the amp, and I was watching it, and it was like around very close to the neck pickup, and all of a sudden I started hearing this weird sound coming out of my amp, and I looked around and I figured out it was the phone. The sound of the phone that was coming out of the phone was getting picked up by this pickup and going into coming out the amp. I found that if I rolled the volume down, or rolled the tone down, that it got, that it was, like, it would come out a little clearer, but then when I had the tone all the way up, it was a little distorted, a little more crackly. Now, some people might take that and, would say, oh, no, this is a garbage guitar, now I gotta go send it into PRS, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. To me, it's kind of an interesting gimmick. Again, this is not a guitar I'm taking on the road. It's, and even with that, I still would. I'd probably find a way to incorporate that somehow into a show or into an effect. But to me, it was just kind of an interesting little quirk. So, I know some people can get huffy about that. And, you know, depending on your rig, I get that. But just something interesting. But I know you're not necessarily here for all this, all that. You want to hear how this thing sounds. So I'm going to go through, do my usual, go through the volume, middle, and bridge, and then I'm going to add on the clean amp, and then on my distorted amp, I'm going to do the same settings. So right now, I've got both my Vox AC4 TV Mini and my Blackstar HT1R Mark II. So right now I'm on the bass pickup coming out of the Vox. Middle. Treble. Go back to treble. Middle. Bass. Now, let's go ahead and got my MXR AB box. Now I'm going to switch over to the Blackstar for the distorted amp, the distorted tones. Bass pickup. Middle. Treble. Treble. Middle. Bass. So that's my newish PRS Santana. And one thing it took me a little bit of time to notice, like literally, I don't know why, I'm just now noticing it, just now putting it together. This has the older setup, so it's got the volume here and the treble here, and the volume and the tone, where it typically has the volume and the tone both backed off a bit. Like I think the volume would be about here and the tone would be about here. So honestly, I'm a little more comfortable with it. It's not exactly getting in my way or anything. I like that middle sound too. Little bell, ringy. I like that. Anyway, really cool guitar. So if you have one of the Santanas, even one of the recent ones, the retro ones, let me know what you think about yours. I really like the locking tuners. So typically, I usually have someone else help do my restrings or help me restring. This was actually very easy to restring, the locking tuners. It's taken me a long time, but PRS has made a convert of me, and I definitely like locking tuners now. Of course, I still messed up some of the strings. I had to kind of take them off and redo them, but again, even to that extent, these were definitely helpful. So, but yeah, definitely love this. This is definitely going to be a keeper. This is not one I'm selling. I'm not one I'm moving along. I'm very happy with it. So, Again, if you have a Santana, let me know on the bottom. Let me know what your opinion is of the Santanas. Do you like them? Do you dislike them? What are modifications you've made to yours? Stuff like that. So, I think that should be it for now. And until later, see you around. Thank you.